TV with Coach Mike Winklejohn. Coach, this last weekend at UFC 135, the John Jones fought, and it was interesting because Joe Rogan on the broadcast had mentioned your name specifically, that John wanted to acknowledge you and the striking that you were doing. His performance was really amazing, and it almost looked like Rampage didn't know how to even approach him. What are your thoughts about how John performed?
Oh, that was the goal. You know, John's got this long length. Rampage, more of a boxing stance, doesn't kick as much, and doesn't adjust his feet in such a manner that he's going to be able to close the gap. Why not stay long and pick him apart and make him quit from far range? Could John beat him inside? Yeah, probably, but why? You know, it's always about the best odds for John to win the fight, and John did exactly that. For the little bit of experience he has standing up lifetime, he's just accelerating so fast with his learning, and he's believing in everything, and I was real excited about that fight.
What was really interesting too is he has so many different types of strikes, you know, and different ways to attack. Can you kind of comment how you developed that with him?
You know what? We start off meat and potatoes. You know, everybody wants him to do all these fancy things. He already does fancy things. What I want to do is just make him hit a little bit harder so he starts believing in it, a little more accurate on all of his shots, and then he can put all the shots into his fancy moves. So that's what we started with, and then we went. You got a little bit on the crazy side, and then we have the basics down, the power down, start hitting those angles and bringing things up at different directions where the guy is constantly second guessing himself, constantly worrying about running into something, and he has no game plan. He can't do anything but just take damage.
Yeah, and it really looked like that with Rampage. I mean, he just wasn't moving, and he was just watching almost.
I thought one of the best parts of the fight was when he looked at the ref. John kicked him kind of in the thigh and right above the knee. And he looked at the ref like, can he do that? and that's where I knew that Rampage didn't want to be there anymore.
And that was, I think that was in the later part of the third round, and he landed a beautiful side kick to that front knee. Mm-hmm. When you work with him, is it that you complement his natural ability, or do you have certain things you want to apply, or is it a combination of both?
It's a combination of both. You know, you definitely always don't want to change the fighter. You don't want to take a tall guy and try to teach him how to box inside like a short Joe Frazier, but at the same time you want to give him all the skills necessary depending on what your opponent can do. But John is, like I said, he's a fast learner, so try to do things that complement him, but things that I know that he needs to work on for the future. So we're working on tools right now that, even though you didn't see him with Rampage, will play out in the years to come.
Now, looking forward at UFC 136, there's Brian Stan and Melvin on that card. You've been working with them. What are your thoughts about their matchups?
I'm excited about the card. You know, Melvin, first off, Melvin, he's just so explosive. And standing in front of him and getting hit is a bad night for anybody. They always go to sleep. So Melvin always brings that to the table, and it's going to be a great fight for Melvin. I think Joe Lauzon is one of those matchups where we have to worry about a lot of things. The guy's real aggressive, especially early on in the round. He goes really hard. He's got great moves on the ground, but you know, I won't lie. There's no doubt Melvin doesn't really want to be rolling around the ground with him for too long. Melvin wants to hit him standing up, and I believe that's how the fight's going to turn out, so I'm excited about that.
And how about with Brian? He has a pretty tough matchup as well.
You know what, Brian, it's definitely a tough matchup, but I feel real good about that. You know what, he's that guy that he's going to kick Chael Sonnen hard. He's going to punch him really hard and make him second-guess those takedowns. We expect to spend a lot of time, like everybody else has, trying to get up off the ground with Chael, but Brian's prepared for that. He's prepared for it mentally. He's trained for that. And the amount of time that we spend standing up is going to be a bad evening for Chael Sonnen.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Coach. And we look forward to UFC 136 as well as Jackson's MMA 36 on October 22nd.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, John.